Hi guys, welcome to the second game of the GNSW Grand Final Series. It's the Kookaburra Bowl. I'm here with Mitch Wallner, one of the best Colts coaches in the nation. He's joining us today. The game between the Seahawks and the Sydney University Cubs. Mitch.
Undefeated Seahawks and a battling Cubs team. It looks to be an incredibly exciting game. I think it's going to be high scoring. I'm looking forward to see what the teams can put on the field. The Lions are notorious for putting obscure formations out there, but the Seahawks defense has been an undisputed MVP of the league this year, giving up, I think it's a total of 12 or 18 points to the opposition team. So can't wait to see what they're going to put on the field today.
Yeah, a couple of players to watch for the Cubs. Number 17, Hayden Gifford. He scored 23 touchdowns this year. And number 2, Matthew Hull, for the Seahawks. He scored 28 touchdowns this year. Both wide receivers, both great hands, and both amazing speed. Looks like that the Seahawks are going to kick off to the Cubs. I would dare say that the Seahawks won the toss and deferred, and will take the ball in the second half.
I think special teams are going to be a critical part of this game. There's a lot of undisputed yardage that you can get out of here and really see what you can compete with. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do on that side of the ball. I think if we look back at returner, we're going to see Selby Scott, who's another high-value player from their offense and defense, sort of moving all around the field. So looking forward to the kickoff here. Number 11, we've got Harrison Kobach. It's a big kick downfield, fielded evenly, looking to turn it up, bring it up the right-hand side. Tackled early. Got back to the 20-yard line, which is what you would have got on a touchback anyway, which is incredibly good work by the Seahawks. I think you'll see incredibly strong fundamental tackling from their defense. I'll be interested to see if we can get some more film around the tackling as we get into the game. Big number 99, Mr. McDonald, dominant defensive player, supposedly from a long line of farmers, his teammates.
Yes, and a true gentleman when he's out there. And number 54, Ethan Hawke, the middle linebacker. I've watched this kid play for the last 3 years, and I'm pre-warning you now, he will be an outback player. Great kid, great, tough
Trick
player.
Play first up, interception, oh, and dropped. Showing a bit of razzle-dazzle at the beginning there, coach, trying to keep them on their toes.
Yes.
Defense managed to stay fairly fundamentally sound and was picking at the route on the outside. It's, I think you're going to have to get up a little bit earlier to try and surprise this Seahawks defense. You saw a strong safety rotation down to the field side as well there that showed that they were down into a one-high structure, which looks like could possibly be a cover 3. But if you see there, oh, I think 3 was counting the interception before he caught it, coach.
Yeah, well, we'll go back, send down, back to their running game.
Simple run game, stuffed early, swarm to the ball as well.
Yeah, number 6, Max Ione. He's an American kid out here studying at Sydney University. Tough kid, great runner, and sure hands as well. Got 3rd down and 9. Usually a passing down.
You'd look for the offense to try and stave off some of the rush from the Seahawks defense. So perhaps a play-action pass or something to try and set them offside. Yeah. Quick screen to the outside. Corner breaks the tackle. They've got a blocker out in front. He's going to run to the sideline now. He's probably just going to get first down. Yep. Big play on 3rd to move the chains.
Great quick screen. And a great block from the receiver on the outside that got the defender going backside. Smart move. Won't. The front 3 and the front 4.
This is an interesting call. They haven't called it first down, so it's 4th and 1.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So we're going to have to make a decision here. I don't know whether the Cubs look like they're going to go for it. They trust their offense to get the 1 yard. They're now in trips, single side receiver. You're going to get a timeout. First drive.
Yeah, it's early in the game, and you're down on your own 30-yard line. Is it that important to make a first down? Yeah, you want to set the tone but do you want to give such a high-powered offense the ball 30 yards going in? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm always a fan of you got to risk it to get the biscuit, coach. And I think at the end of the day, 4th and 1, you're probably going to try and see them draw an offside. You know they're going to go on a 2 count or something quite hard. Expect something pretty fancy out there and see what they can do.
We're seeing Blake Zumot. He's the defensive coordinator for the Seahawks.
Let him cut into our straight and take their pocket head. Stop his feet. Just don't bounce in, hold him out. All right, get out there. Let's go.
See a lot of confidence coming from the Seahawks defense as they break out of the huddle, looking forward to try and make a change here. I think if they're in a punting formation that you can see, so that it looks like there'll be a change. Number 17, being Hayden Whitfield, is quite elusive with the ball in space. So I think if he gets the right look, you'd look for him to try and run for a first down here. Nice safe punt down deep. You can see Seahawks clearing it out and the Lions team trying to field it down. Nice bounce and roll. You're going to put it down at about the 8-yard line. So this will be a big drive for the Seahawks offense to try and get within scoring distance. They have been able to do a combination of both short plays as well as chunk plays to move the ball. So I look forward to seeing what they're able to do.
Yeah, you're going to see a really high-powered offense now, especially number 87 for the Colts, Mitchell Sawyer.
Great name, coach. Great name.
Yes, he is. Kid's 6'5" and he's just got hands for days. So it's a new formation they've got going. Tight end. Looks like they're going to try and run the ball against the.
It's a nice stable decision on first down. Settle the team in. It's a big game.
Yep.
They performed well under pressure previously, but I always think it's good to try and make sure that the offense knows they can get the ball moving. It's a great run there by number 22, if I can draw upon his name. They've got so many players, they've got to flip the sheet. Jensen Sakai. Great throw. Oh, laid out by number 2. I think that was fairly good coverage across the board. I'll be interested to see what we've got a flag down for over here.
I was busy watching well, it's down, it's 3 yards downfield. So you're either looking at a holding penalty.
Perhaps an eligible man downfield.
Yes.
We all get pretty excited about it, Coach. I know as an O-lineman, the chance you get to have a run, you'll do it every single chance you can get. So,
just to let the people know, when the quarterback throws the ball, the offensive lineman, the 3 guys in front of the quarterback, cannot go more than 1 yard downfield. Otherwise, it's deemed to be ineligible to receive the field.
Number 87 of the Seahawks, half the distance to the goal line. Down.
Okay.
oh,
So obviously something that number 87 did or said.
set the team back.
Yeah.
Because they're so close to the goal line, they can't actually get the true 15 yards, so they'll go half distance. Looks like we've got another pass play. Looks like multiple offsides. Perry Cunningham here's going to make a run for it. Great tackle by number 30 there. Doing huge
You guys
work.
accepting or declining the encroachment? You guys accepting or declining the encroachment?
Well, actually, I think it's 35. isn't it?
35, William
What's the
Pereira.
number?
Yeah, great.
Greg, what's the number?
So Sydney
We got-
University.
We have
We'll listen to the
encroachment.
referee.
Number 31 on the Cubs. 5 yards. Repeat. Second down.
For those watching at home, if the defense is across the line of scrimmage prior to the ball being snapped and the ball is snapped, it's a legal move by the defense. Looking back into another empty style formation here, it looks quite good. Shovel pass to the inside. Number 2's trying to get out, made it to the boundary. Looks like we've got a holding call,
Yes.
but pushed out of
Yeah.
bounds at approximately a 10-yard gain. I'll be interested to see what the flags are coming through on the field now.
Look, you know, when you see that side, especially when that guy gets outside and he gets that lane, you can usually bet $1 million to say he was holding.
We have holding on number 16 of the Seahawks. Half the distance. Out.
There was no ambivalence in that call. It was very clear and received by the team.
100%.
It's one of the things that we need to work through, I think, as a league and improving across the board is the ambivalence around play calling and what that looks like. It's pretty exciting. Good to see good officials making great calls.
The Seahawks a little nervous, I think. Big game. They're not as fluid and focused as they usually are.
Screen pass. That's a flagrantly late throw to the ground. I'll be interested to see how that isn't called, but let's see what we can get.
The White Hat's job is to protect the quarterback. I'm surprised he didn't throw the flag, but that's his interpretation of the rule. We've got ours.
And the rule is on the field. The White Hat's word is law.
Yes.
So we'll see how that comes through. Safe inside run, open to space. Big tackle by number 17, Hayden Gifford. It looks like they're in a dangerous position to punt here, Coach. And in a 4th down on your own end zone, you're definitely going to see a significant investment by the defense to try and turn the ball over.
100%. And you will see this rush come through.
There's some new rules in place that the center and the kicker cannot have anyone over the top of them, and they cannot be hit during the process. Safety rule. He's taken off, going for a 1st down, makes it. He's cutting down the sideline as well. Stiff arm, manages to bring it down to the 38 or close to it. Great run by number 2.
And again, Matthew Hull, the kid's been on fire all year. He's such a huge offensive weapon for the Seahawks.
This buys them a new bit of space as well, Coach, because they've got more area to work the ball. They're not trying to be as conservative. They can take a few more risks. Looking at formation into the boundary here, which means more receivers into the inside. Looks like they're going to try and get out to the field. Ball fumbled but recovered.
Who's got the ball?
I think it was well recovered by
the Seahawks
did a great job of getting on top of it.
Offensive lineman, always to the rescue.
Perry slow to get up there. Was concerned for a moment it may have been a non-contact injury, but good to see him sprightly and back up.
Up he gets. 2nd down and 12.
Another strong offensive line stand here. Let's see what they can get out. Plenty of pressure down. Throw to the field. Guys are open. Out to number 54. Great run. Brought down. Great tackle by number 35. But incredible patience by Perry in the pocket there.
This shows the diversity of the Seahawks, their athletic ability. Ethan Hunt, who just caught that pass and ran with it for a 1st down, is their starting middle linebacker. Now he's playing running back.
Exactly, and it's great to see that these new Colts offenses aren't part of that archaic tradition of just always run the ball. Big turnover and recovery. Let's wait and see.
Who's got it? Who's got it?
Just waiting to see it come out. Daniel McDonald there throwing his hands up, and it looks to be recovered by the Cubs. Big turnover after a strong offensive drive.
Well, if he was a linebacker like me in the day, he never had good hands. So.
No, that's it. That's it. I think they called you sausage fingers,
Coach.
100%. But yeah, as I was hearkening on before, the new offenses that we're seeing in the Colts League are not part of the archaic tradition of just run the ball. Rather, they're looking to try and distribute the ball evenly across all players on the offensive side.
Yeah. Well, you'll see Ethan Hunt get this ball back. He'll be upset. 1st down for the Cubs.
So too high structure, could be cover 2. Strong run. 95 stacks it up.
Yeah.
We look like we've got a penalty in the box somewhere there. Looks like a 3-yard gain on the run, but we're unsure about what that's going to come into. Let's look for the...
Nathan Wakefield. Looks like they're looking at a face mask. Made the call.
We have personal foul. For 95 of the Seahawks. Automatic, 1st down, 15 yards from the spot.
Yep.
These are the big challenges in these games, is when the stress is up and the pressure's on. You start to see some of these mental mistakes. Now, the Seahawks, frankly, have not made many at all throughout the season. So they're going to rally. I think the biggest thing is to get through the 1st quarter, not giving up anything that's too significant and putting themselves in a position to be successful.
Yep.
You can see the D-line moving around a little bit there, looking at what they're going to try and do.
Yeah, you saw 95 get his hands in there and grab that face mask.
Too high structure, possibly looking at what we're trying to get. Open run there, but a great tackle made by number appears to be 45. Consistently making tackles across the board. From what I heard, Diesel Shepherd, he's actually a rookie and has contributed significantly to the Seahawks defense in this season.
Yeah, these kids are coached well. It's good to see them. Okay, 2nd down and 8.
An interesting drive for the Cubs because they've stayed quite conventional in their offensive formations at the moment and aren't doing anything too wild. Justin Whiting, the offensive coordinator there, is actually an ex-Seahawk who led that team to a couple of championships. Quick screen to the outside. Huge tackle by number 20. Number 20?
Yep.
Keani Matthews. That looked like getting tackled by a Coke machine with legs. I would be terrified. I'm glad I don't play.
Yeah, well, we call that the hospital pass. He literally had time to catch the ball, and then the Mack truck was coming.
It's hard with these quick screens as well because the QB doesn't really get to make a decision. They're considered an extension of the run game, just attacking the perimeter.
Yeah.
So with the defense lined up the way it is and the way they're defending against it, you're really looking at they're going to be quick to come down and make a play. See a motion here, fairly deep. They're going to look at a quick throw down there and then try and throw over the middle. Great catch, but again, solid conventional tackling with nothing to be able to get the further chunk plays they're needed. I would expect that they go for it on this 4th and 9. I know the Cubs offense is able to get it, but punting in this situation just isn't going to be viable, especially considering the high-powered Seahawks offense, as well as we don't really kick field goals in the Colts League. We're a bit like, let's win it. Let's not let's
score
not
points.
Yeah.
That last tackle made by Ethan Hunt. Ethan Hunt. God, I'm talking Ethan Scott.
Ethan Scott.
4th down and 9.
You get some edge pressure here because they know inside run can't be a thing. They're looking to pass it out quick. They're getting it back inside. Tackled early, but there is a flag on the play. If this is on the Seahawks, they'll probably buy a new set of downs. However, it's on the Cubs. You look for the Seahawks to wave it off and turn the ball over right there.
So we had illegal block in the back. Number 19 of the Cubs. That'll be declined. That brings up.
It's always hard when you see flags at the point of attack, Coach. You know that there's probably going to be a mental error there where the guys are just trying to fight and battle it out to see what they can get.
Inside the tackle box between the 2 guards, blocking on the back is legal to a point, but off the edges, anywhere like that, you must block in the front frame of the player. Pushing the guy from the back is illegal.
Yeah, it's definitely considered uncouth against the sportsmanship of the game to be able to try and do it, but it's always one of those things that you got to consider. Let's see what we can do here. See what the offense is going to try and bring to the party. Andrew Moenting, is a fantastic offensive play caller who really focuses on putting the offense in the best position based on what the defense is giving them. You can see they're a false start on the offense.
Repeat, first down.
Again, just these little niggly mental errors that you haven't seen historically that, you know, it's not as... Normally you'd see the Seahawks as a barracuda and they're a bit more like a trout at the moment, Coach. They're taking their time to get into it. Once they get rolling, like these plays here, they're incredibly hard to stop. This is an open field run, huge run.
Great run by
number
3 tackles.
And that was a consistent run. There wasn't a point where anyone was doing anything more than what they needed to. And this is what the Seahawks is known for, is this conventional working through what they need to do, being fundamentally sound on all aspects of the ball and really being able to go quickly once they do it. Another run on the inside, just pounding it forward. But after a big play, it's good to get another quick yardage gain.
Yeah, and you'll see the Seahawks now in their hurry-up offense. They're not even going to give defense a chance to breathe. 2nd down and 6. They're already up the line, ready to go.
New running back in. We've got a different motion. We're trying to create some misdirection. It's a huge run inside. Break it away.
Ethan's gone.
Huge play by number 54. Ethan Scott.
Yeah.
Not wasting any time in getting downfield.
Great athlete. Great play. And that's how you make up after a mistake.
And that is what you see with the Seahawks. You might hold them for a little bit, but they're going to keep running. They're going to keep angling in, and they're going to draw you into a position. And then they're going to get open. And it was a great option with that misdirection. You expect to see whips in the end zone here. If you don't, or it's going to be a quick play inside. They're going to get open, out, throw back across the body. Incredibly tough throw to make after rolling out to the opposite side. We are seeing a bit of commotion down there, a bit of hubbub about what's going on.
No, that was unsuccessful. No flags.
No flags.
So the Seahawks are up 6 points to zip in the first quarter. And we'll get a time check any minute.
That was a big play after a couple of consistent setbacks. It's quite reminiscent of a fantasy movie like Thor or something. You know, they go through these challenges, but then they move into seeing what they're able to do. There'll be a bit of frustration, but they'll work it out.
Yep, 100%. Cubs have held their own for the first quarter. I think the first quarter's come to the win now, and it's only 6 points to zip. So they've done really, really well.
And big bowl games are notorious for this unknown variable about what it's going to look like in a real game. You know, you're not playing a Wish.com version of any of these teams. You're playing the very best that they have to offer.
Yep, 100%. Nice kick to Darby. 23.
Holding it nice and tight like a bit of a handbag there. Tucks it in through the contact. Big hustle by the Seahawks defense and special teams to be able to get in after that ball.
And we'll get the Cubs starting first down and 10 on their 25-yard line. Sorry, 28.
Which isn't a bad return. I think, you know, again, when you're looking at the touchback rules around the 20 yards that the offense is driving from, that's what a lot of defenses are driving for, special teams are driving for. Now, looking at what they have to play with here, I don't see a huge difference. And the risk of special teams is always the turnover. You know, it's an ill-practiced group for a lot of the teams, and you can see this here. This is a much more conventional defensive front. And you can see the pressure again mounting on the Cubs with a false start, setting them back. And 15 yards to drive is always that much harder than 10. It's just putting yourself behind where you need to be.
Yeah, these are the mental mistakes that you've got to focus on and weed out of your game.
I think as well it's a big stage. There's been dominant teams in the leagues for the past couple of years, and some of these guys are playing in their first year, and you'll see these issues associated with it. It's a nice inside run, and again, incredibly strong tackling by the Seahawks. You don't see a lot of broken tackles or missed tackles by this defense. They're incredibly fundamentally sound across the varying coverages and fronts that they run. And while, yeah, you might get a play here and there or a big cutback, I don't think you're just going to see anything that's really going to burn them out at this point in time. The Cubs always have the unknown quantity. Everyone has a puncher's chance. I'm excited to see what they start to do. As you can see, some changing formations here as Justin starts to find his rhythm. Look at a bunch formation, trying to change up the coverage and see what they can get. You're able to put some extra pressure in. Just again, a little bit antsy by the QB in the pocket. Needs the confidence to step up and make the throw. The receiver was open, but the Seahawks defense does a great job of getting pressure on them.
Yeah, I watch these receivers, and the frustration is that kids playing AFL and rugby tend to stop and try to jump to the ball rather than keep running and run into the ball. That's a perfect example. If the kid had kept running, it would have landed right in his hands.
Interesting empty formation here. Looks like we're going to try and get something on the backside, but trying to find an open receiver and put it up for a catch. Just overthrown. There wasn't a lot of pressure on the QB there. Again, if he chose to settle in the pocket and make a different decision, I think they're within a shot of what this looks like to try and make a play. Fourth down, it looks like they should try and punt it.
Yeah, their punt team's coming out. I haven't seen this formation by the Seahawks where they're only rush two and they're going in nickel coverage.
They tend to, it looked like it was an adjustment against the empty threat because the QB wasn't a runner, and a lot of the time the offensive philosophy or defensive philosophy will be, well, if you've got to win with the QB running, then we'll take the licks against it. This is a big punt, fairly well covered. Great recovery I think some of the feeling by the Seahawks coaches is try and stay away from the ball, especially on punt because of the turnover. It's always going to be a thing.
Yeah, you don't want to make those mistakes.
Well, you don't want to keep the offense down to the point that they have to driving on fourth and then turning the ball over. It does look like it may be fourth down. Sorry, second quarter. Are we hearing a quarter change?
So the referees are sorting something out. I think it's an injured player.
You can see a veteran player here, Eric, number 3, who's been around the league for quite some time. Has played both men's and couples. So it's interesting to see what he can do here. Looking for the defense to try and smother this early and absorb everything that they're going to get given. Blitz off the side, interesting decision. Eric reads well, and then they come down and stuff it. It's still, unfortunately, for the Cubs, a 5-yard gain. They're not able to masticate or absorb the run game at the moment. They're really giving up several yards each drive.
Well, look at their offensive line for the Seahawks.
Yeah.
They're big and strong.
Yeah, and they're fundamentally good. Their hands are safe. It's a big throw as well. Someone's open, just out of reach of number 9 there. William Coe.
Great throw. There's even decent coverage, but these receivers are so good at catching those long balls. They've been doing it all year.
And I think one of the things I've observed across both the offense of the Seahawks and the Cubs is they are fastidious in their efforts to make it as accurate as possible. Yep. They are not giving up anything little. They've got a big ball there. Interception. Underthrowing a vertical route is an issue that you do see across the board on some of the more junior quarterbacks when they're under pressure. Temperament's going to be really important here from both teams as they start to recover and move forward, because, you know, the Lions or the Cubs are playing from behind. It's only 1 touchdown. The game's far from over. And then the Seahawks are going to have to find where they sit in the scheme of knowing that they've dominated teams early and being able to find that energy and effort again. I think as you see them settle in, they're going to be a dominant force. But again, the Cubs are continuing to surprise when the score in the season is not reflective of the bout that they have at the moment.
We saw that in the first game with the ladies where it was 8-6 in the first half, and then
it's a big screen here coming through. Someone's down like Godzilla there. All groups down. I would not want to be against that wall.
Yeah. Again, this quarterback's got to get that ball out quicker. These screens are supposed to be grip and whip and get that ball out as soon as you can. If you don't do that, you're just putting your guys up ready to get beat up.
100%, and I think that's what you're seeing now is the Seahawks are well drilled against the screen pass and are coming down incredibly fast and aggressive against what they know is coming. I think that's close. I think ball security is job security. Great way to hold on to the ball through a giant hit by number 50. I don't think that you can not account for him in the blocking. He's definitely one of those. Sorry. Incorrectly labelled.
56 or
56. Lockie Williams. Yeah. Lachlan Williams. Incredible play.
You get a replay of this, him coming off the edge there.
Yeah, it's not something that you want to be able to do. He's got the bloke, and you just see him, pow. That's not a good day in the office there, Coach.
Yeah.
But
the running back's looking at the quarterback going, what were you thinking?
Yeah, credit to the running back, though. He held on to the ball, and as many coaches say, ball security is job security. They are a fan of this rollout and throw to the middle of the field. Great hands, but an incredible breakup by number 11. It's an incredible job there, Harrison Kobach. You see him come through the hands of the receiver, not allow him to retrieve the ball at all.
Well, they got the intercept, but didn't do anything with it, so they'll be punting the ball now. The 4th down and 12 from their own 32-yard line.
And again, I think we're seeing conventional punts, but the minute they start to stop rushing guys and try and return it, you're going to see an illustrious move by number 17 here. Staying safe in the pocket. Nice, tidy punt. You're going to see it wave down, touch that guy, should be dead on there, and we'll see it come down at the 31.
No flags. Seahawks offense goes back out. Just on those kicks, when they do kick the ball, if the opposing team even so much as touches it with a finger, it becomes a live ball. If they don't touch it and walk away, there's no way that the team that kicks it can move it forward. As soon as they touch it, it's played dead there, and the offense will come out.
Seahawks offense back on the field, looking to try and reignite what they know. You see screen pass out to the running back, open field, but tripped over. That's a hard play that the running back lost his feet a little bit, and it looked much worse than what it was. And by the looks of that, it appears to be quarter time. So fairly low scoring first half with the Seahawks versus the Cubs. Looking forward to seeing what the second quarter brings. For those watching at home, each quarter we swap ends. It allows neither team to get advantage due to wind blowing on the field for a consistent period of time. How do you feel it's going so far, Coach?
Look, like I said, Seahawks look nervous. They've come out with such confidence and such ability all year, and they're just making little silly mistakes, fumbles, jump offside, holding penalties. It's things that we're not used to seeing. But as I said, it's only the first half. They will settle in, they will get focus, and that just amazing offense will just start to roll and roll and roll. And that's where you'll start to see some scores and some amazing things.
I think as well, you know, they're not running just a meathead offense. You know, there's decisions that need to be made by the QB. They're not just handing the ball off or throwing quick game. They're responsible for a fair amount of decisions. It's stacked early, but the running back is still going. Yeah. It was stopped. First contact as well behind the line of scrimmage. And
looked like 51, Jackson Brown.
He is an outstanding player, known to sort of rampage through the defending offensive lines to try and make sure that he's very hard to stop. Very hard to stop. You have to account for him in your blocking schemes. Seeing here more of a wing-back formation, trying to get some protection for the quarterback. Inside run, handoff again.
Down.
Stopped early. Hands in the air. It looks like the Seahawks will be forced to punt on this drive as well.
Yeah. Fourth down and 14. The Seahawks coaches, especially the offense coaches, look a little bit frustrated. Daniel Bess is looking at this quarterback thinking, what did you do? What did you call?
Yeah.
Good punt.
This is a great punt, out of bounds.
Right at the 50.
It's it may not feel like it, but the offense of the Cubs is slowly retrieving field position. You know, earlier on we were at the 10, 20 now. This is where special teams is quite serendipitous, because while people don't always invest a lot of time in the coaching of it, they really are responsible for some of the big plays within organisations like the Cubs, because they're able to get out and be in a position to score and not have to drive the field. As you've seen previously, driving the field is incredibly tough. And teams can be known to be a bit discombobulated when they're trying to do too many things to get the ball downfield.
We've got trips right for the Cubs.
Oh, both guys off the edge. Huge tackle. Approximately 3-yard loss, so now it's 2nd and 13. It looked like the helmet's in there. He could have just followed the yellow brick road, but the edge rushes by the Seahawks were just far too fast, 56 and 99. Hadn't seen a huge play from them throughout the season, but no, it's good. It's good that they're starting to get in there. Motion out to the field side, looking to try and get it. QB keep, trying to make some yards. Slide to just recover.
Yeah.
Not a bad decision. We're back at 3rd and 9.
See what they come up with here. Everyone needs to see Hayden Gifford, number 17. Kid never gets a rest. Special teams, defensive free safety, offensive receiver. They even put him at tight end occasionally.
And if you do see on the sidelines the water boy for the man himself, number 17, Mr. Gifford, is an illustrious, family-cultured University of Sydney alumni.
Yes, he's actually got both his sons playing for the Cubs.
That's a first down and a huge play. There does look to be some incidental holding at the line of scrimmage, but it has not been identified by the officials. That's the first chunk play that we've seen the Cubs be able to pull together, and I think if you see that can work, we're going to see a little bit more of the QB getting out of the pocket and trying to throw on the run.
Yeah, nice clearing route by the receiver. The safety had to go with him.
The safety did come down though and make a significant hit. You don't want to be running that too many times. You're going to start to have some issues. And this nice play, cut to the outside, quick ball, fell over. Unfortunately, that's one of the challenges we do have on this, is the turf and their ability for the guys to be able to make cuts and understand what the turf's going to do underfoot.
One of the last photos you saw on the screen was Justin Whiting, the offensive coordinator for the Cubs, throwing his hands up, making all sorts of little funny movements with his hands and his arms. That's how they relay plays in, rather than calling them out, calling numbers, calling all sorts of stuff. They know exactly what to do from these crazy things.
You can see there's a lion on the sideline, Coach. There's no lack of for the culture attitude with the Sydney Uni team. Motion to the boundary, which is interesting. We're going to see a false start, I'm assuming. Just another little mental mistake that we're going to have to try and recover from if we're going to go down to its second.
Number 24 of the Cubs, 5 yards. Second down.
2nd and 15, and you're going to start to see some frustration exude from the team as they are unable to drive the ball the way they want to. It's starting to heat up out there as well. You're going to start to see the heat and fatigue make a distinctly different impact on the team as they come through it.
You'll see so many more players on the Seahawks sideline, which means that they can refresh their guys. And
huge play, staying out, throwing the ball downfield. Broken play, which is hard. Incredibly tough catch to be made there. Back shoulder. But again, you are seeing that while they're out of the pocket, he is incredibly dangerous in getting the ball downfield. And I expect to see that being an increasing thing that you see the Cubs try and utilise to drive the field. It looks like we're on 3rd down. They've got the potential to be able to drive in another big play here. There's some confusion, it seems. Too many men on the field. They're trying to get people off. They're trying to get the formation in. Timing starts to become an issue here. Running backs in front. Don't look for it to be a side. Out to make a cut. Maximum protection. Dancing in the pocket. Trying to get around. You can see the pressure coming down. This is going to be a big sack. And he's out.
Yeah, this is with young quarterbacks trying to teach them that either throw the ball out of bounds, but don't get caught. He's lost at least 20 yards on that one play.
And that's one of those things, while he's in the back there trying to dissect the defense and understand what that looks like, the dissection time cost him yards. Far too many in a game like this to be able to recover. Looking at getting enough players on the field, I feel like there's still a man down, but I may be incorrect.
Exactly
right.
We've
got someone sprinting on to try and get it right. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Looks like they're correct. No. We've got a false start. Number 10 wasn't set on this side of the line.
We have false start. Number 10 of the Cubs, 5 yards. Repeat, 4th down.
Yes. Little mistakes can, where you're looking at 2nd down at 10 from the 30, and now you're looking at 4th down and 30, 40. There you go, Jane.
Big kick. Well fielded by number 7. Dodged the first tackler. Missed the 2nd down.
Yep.
And the illustrious Ed Blakely making the call for the spot with it. It looked like his knee was down on the return. I don't know whether we'll get another chance to see that, but there will be, it's always a bit of contention on some of those calls. The coaches want to see the kids keep running, and see the big punt here. Downfield, well covered, but took edge off, and as you see him, he comes down.
Yep, there's his knee right down
His
there.
knee was well down.
Good call by Ed Blakely.
Yeah, great call by Ed Blakely. And look, I always have to have an issue around those androgynous calls, you know, where there's sort of one way or the other. Always got to make sure that we're black and white on that. Little quick screen, chasing the ball. Could have, I think, the late whistle meant that they considered the ball live as they started to go through it.
Yeah, the quarterback, Perry Cunningham, he's played so well all year. There's little passes that he's used to throwing, but again, the nerves of a big game, he's just not settled yet. There's a nice run. And you'll see them. There's a hurry up, second down. They're ready on the line, ready to go.
They're trying to give their defense a break off the field, and that quick run, but again, they're getting swarmed, and the Sydney Uni defense is playing out of their skin. Can't fault it. 4th and 7.
No, I think, is that 4th or 3rd?
Looks to be 4th to me, Coach. That's the big number on the stick there. I can only go with what I'm provided, but I am considerate of, you know, this again. They've been known to scramble on the punt. They've been known to go for first downs. It looks like they're going for it anyway because they trust that they can do it. There's an open receiver and putting it up in the air. Eric's well covered, but did not manage to make a play.
This is Matthew Hull. Like I said, he was covered so well. Back shoulder pass, and he just elevated himself above the receiver. Great
pass by the Q as well to put it away from the DB. If he'd thrown that on the inside, it would have been incredibly hard for the receiver to be able to get over to it. Quick attack to the outside. Still making yards, and again, we saw a big hit on a player on the outside there, but they still gave up an incredibly large amount of yards on that play.
Here's a hurry up.
You'll see them go for a quick run, I think, here, Coach. They're going to try and get them on what they're trying to do. You know that they're going to be able to do it. Keep them tired, keep the defense tired, running over some people and going for it. It's incredibly sound defensive play calling to know that. I'll be interested to see what the call is here.
Yeah, things are getting a little heated out there. It's a close game. They need to focus.
Waiting to see what the call is there.
We're going to see a personal foul on number 3 for the Cubs.
There's a bit of deliberation on this one, so there's probably a couple of different viewpoints that they're going to have. It's important in these situations where the refs do get the right call, and they are high emotion. I did see the white hat earlier sort of speaking to the sideline and telling people to calm down.
It's quite a different game to what the Seahawks are used to. Usually they're up by about 20 points right now, and they're
So there were 2 personal fouls on that play, which means that there was a bit of argy-bargy from both players. But I think coaches tend to be happy little Vegemites when that happens because they're not having to lose yards, and both teams are put on notice.
So we've got second down and 3. You'll see the Seahawks look to run the ball here. No.
I think passing's open. They get someone open. He's going to have to scramble. He gets it out early. Great hands by 87 to be able to move the chains, Mitch Sawyer. It's who they go to in those critical downs where, you know, you've got to make sure they catch the ball, and he's able to body up someone on defense, be able to go for it. They're going fast again, motion, trying to get the ball out to the perimeter. You can see someone chasing him down, turns the corner end the edge. Big hit, big hit.
Oh, there we go.
And we've
There's
seen a
a
flag on the play. Unsure what that looks like.
I think that you get pushing it back, number 22. That's what it looked like. It wouldn't be against the runner.
If anyone's curious, this little congregation of refs there as a group of zebras can be called a dazzle, if anyone's interested in their group at home.
This is why we have Coach Wallner on there.
That's it, for all the illustrious terminologies that we can use. I did feel like I couldn't see who was running the ball there, but he definitely gave the defender the business when it comes to those things. We're seeing a flag waved off, so a touchdown will stand.
Touchdown.
Huge play, huge play. And this is what you start to see. It's now more pressure forced onto the Cubs to try and make a decision.
Yep. They'll go for 2 points here. As I said at the start of the broadcast, Matt Hull is just a offensive machine. He'll score from anywhere.
Big pressure. Again, the important thing to understand here is that from a offensive point of view, these 2-point conversions become incredibly important as the game gets longer in the tooth. And what you're going to start to see is, while this could be, with another score, a 3-score game, the Cubs can easily come back with a conversion and score 2 touchdowns and win. And I think it's just an undervalued element at the moment that the Cubs are doing incredibly well in that red zone 2-point defense.
Yep.
And we're going to have to see some life from the Cubs offense to try and get after it.
Yeah, they definitely score some points before the end of the half. By the looks of it, there's about 4.5 minutes left in the first half. The Cubs getting their kick return set.
Again, special teams is going to be incredibly critical here for the Cubs to be able to return. It does look like they're trying to get someone off the field. It doesn't appear that they have enough players now. They've got 8 on the field instead of 9, which is going to make it incredibly hard. You cannot dance against the special teams. Ball's out and a turnover to the Seahawks. This is the important part now. If the Seahawks rise mentally and the Cubs back away, I feel like we're going to start to see this game get blown open.
That's one thing that these coaches work on with their defensive players especially. One guy goes in for the tackle and the rest of them try and rip that ball out.
Tackles and turnovers, Coach. They're well known for it.
100%.
I think what we're going to see now as well, them try and belt the ball through the middle a little bit of ramrod straight down the middle, and then work through what else is going to happen there. Oh, it's like I've coached against them, Coach. It's a hard day in the office, but it does look like they're going to be consistent in that.
Yeah. Obviously running the ball gets the clock running. Game will go a lot faster, but it means that the defense will not only tire, but will waste time.
I think they're in the control of the game now as well. They know they've got a couple of minutes. They don't really want to put the offense back on the field. They know they can attack outside on this, and they break a tackle again. If they can't secure it, huge chunk play again.
Yeah.
Now that they can see they've been able to turn the edge on this, the linebackers aren't scraping over the top to try and contain the outside run. I'll imagine that we'll continue to see aggression to the outside by the Seahawks.
Yeah, you don't need to do anything special. You can run the same play 3 times. Oh, that's different. Little rugby pass to the tight end. That's a new wrinkle in their offense.
Yeah, it's incredible to see what you can start to do.
Yeah. We go 2nd down and 10 from the 12-yard line.
Again, I think, without reading the mind of anyone, trying to make sure that you bleed the clock down coming into the 2 minute is pretty good. They're getting pushed fairly well. Again, that's a chunk play that they're going to keep the clock rolling. I'm surprised by the lack of timeouts coming in from the Cubs, understanding how little time they have left if they can turn it over. I understand that they're not wanting to try and give the Seahawks more time to score, but there's definitely a consideration to get your offense back on the field. The tempo change as a result of it's just going to be incredibly important. Toss to the outside, great cut by 54, rallied and taken down. Slow to get up by the Seahawks player there. Sorry, by the Cubs player there.
Yeah. And you will see the Seahawks definitely go for it here.
I think you'll expect a little wrinkle here, Coach, something that you may not have seen a heap of previously. It's like a bit deeper in their playbook, but that they feel confident in being able to get a couple of yards from it. Obviously, considering down and distance, they're either going to try and get it open to a man in space, or they're going to try and look to wrinkle someone and have them open from get-go. So let's see what they have here.
I think they're looking to throw the ball to Matthew Hunt. Oh, quarterback's going to keep it. And he's short.
It does look like he's short. Now, it was a big hit to try and make sure he didn't get off the field. Now, to Justin's credit, with this turnover, he does have the timeouts left to be able to drive the field. He's only used one on the offensive side of the ball. It looks like it'll be put on defense to try and hold them out for this part.
Tell you what, look at number 54. Ethan Hawke straight back out there. He's ready to play.
Incredible athleticism by 54 there. 100%. Inside run, trying to get open.
Yeah.
Great play by 56. I believe it's Lockie Williams. Right off the air, made the right decision. The interesting thing that you have seen is there isn't a lot of QB keep in this offense, which really reduces the decisions that they have to make coming off the edge. So he's screaming off, knowing that he's going to take the running back, and has been effective in being able to prevent those plays. You know, look, we're at 2nd and 8. Now, I think they have to pass the ball. They're not in a position they can continue to rely on it. They've got the rollout again, ball's out. Nearly an interception, but it does look like they're going to have what appears to be a holding call on this side. That is the issue with sprint out or roll out passing. The O-line is required to do a little bit more, and as they're starting to run, you're going to see a different amount of effort placed on them to try and control it.
100%.
However,
let's see what this call is.
Oh, waved off. So we're going to look at 3rd and 8. So, nice guy of the year, Mr. C.T. Fletcher as white hat, and the official who threw in the flag there was Mr. GNSW Glenn Bowes, the nicest man in GNSW. Closely followed by myself, if you're a sarcastic man, if anyone's curious.
I was supposed to lead in with that one, but
that's all right.
I left that to the fans.
Self-shaming is good enough for me, Brew. Cut block, big pull downfield, interception, 54, notorious for this, making a tackle, still on his feet, going through. That's
touchdown.
A touchdown. Huge play by 54. Huge play by 54. Again, Ethan Scott. What can't he do?
Such a great athlete. Such a great athlete. This will be his last year in Colts. He'll play up to men's. Any team that gets Ethan as a player will surely do well.
Those big plays are incredibly hard mentally from an opposing team to be able to do that. I witnessed him, I think, pick off three balls in a row by a quarterback, and it's just mentally breaking for the opposition to know that there's a ball hawk out there trying to do that kind of stuff. So you can see that the defense isn't set. They're just trying to get through. Great timing and conversion there. And again, as what we've always been saying, the timing on this was just really going to be a grind until they started to get rolling. And these mental errors, as they start to stack up, really make a difference.
We're coming late into the 2nd quarter. Let's see if the Cubs can do something, at least put some type of score on the board before the half comes. At halftime, we're going to have a little bit of a show. We're going to have some prizes being given away by the LA Rams. You'll see that their banners and their umbrellas up all over the place. And you'll actually see a jugs machine throwing balls up in the air. So all sorts of festivities here at East Rugby in Woollahra. Thank you to Woollahra Council, to the field, bar and grill, and everyone else that's helped get this event off and running. And it's great to see lots of spectators today too.
Booming kick downfield, looking to be quite close. Selby trying to return it from deep, trying to give his team a bit of life. Through the hit right there, making it back to the 40-yard line, which is incredible play, but it does look like there is another flag.
You hate to see those flags,
you do,
especially after he makes good contact and good yards.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. I think there's definitely a level of nerves that come through in these type of situations, and you know, I don't think that there's any incompetence in regards to the knowledge of the rules. I think it's just an element of, you know, it's a big game and there's a lot happening. I think there'd be a feeling amongst some of the teams that they were going through like a period of incarceration with flags, you know, where they feel like they get the momentum running and then they're not able to get on
the
it.
return team. 10 yards from the spot of the foul. First down.
It's incredibly hard mentally to be able to go through that process of being able to have a big return and then have it clawed back because a teammate has made a mistake. I think that's what you're going to start to see. Frustrations will boil over.
We saw number 95, Noah Edwards, on the screen before. A junior player for the Seahawks, but has been amazing as a right tackle all year. Good coaching, good discipline, and it's worked really, really well for the Seahawks.
See the Seahawks hitting a little bit of underneath to try and make sure that there's space for them to throw underneath but not give up any big plays before the half, and I think it's a smart decision across the board to try and force the Cubs to make a play. It is a beautiful day here for football as well, Coach. I thought it might have rained out a little bit, but it looks like the wind's died down. Not too hot, not too hot, not too cold, just right. My favourite kind of porridge. Trips bunch here, looking to get another pass out, open into the flat. He's going to have to try and get downfield. Kept in bounds, clock's running. We're looking at what that's going to look like.
It's close. It'd be a yard short.
Yard short, so 3rd and 1 here. Again, and I guess this is where you see a discipline difference. With the Seahawks, they'd be on this. They'd be trying to run the next play, trying to get the defense off. We're taking the time, working through what this looks like and seeing if we can get a play off from the Cubs. I think this motion, trusting to get the one, perhaps a little inside run, but they're going to try and screen to the field. QB's open, dodged it. First down.
Yep.
Someone was screaming in there to make a play, unfortunately. It's not a bad thing, but at the same time, still a long way to go. Here's the second timeout, and we'll get a time check as soon as we can to see how much time's left. The scramble by the QB is always a little bit dangerous. We're not particularly deep as a league in quarterbacks, so if he decides to put himself in a position, it's going to be quite challenging to recover.
You'll see that he slides up onto his knees. Once the quarterback does that, he's considered a defensive player, and the defense cannot tackle him. They're not even supposed to touch him. So you let him slide, but usually the ball is spotted from where he starts to slide, not where he ends up.
Because I think looking at one of the fields they had in the States the other week, he could have slid 10 yards based on some of the water they had in there. RIP the Bears.
Yeah.
Drainage is far inferior to that at the Mighty Easts. I'm loving the temperament from the Seahawks at the moment. They look like they've calmed down. It looks like they're there to play. They're not overcooking anything on defense. I think the pressure's now definitely put squarely back on the Cubs to make some big plays and decisions here. And let's not understate the fact they really have to drive about 50, 60 yards to be able to make a play on this in the next 2 minutes, which is hard at the best of the times. Taking some time to get the calls in, moving the formation around a little bit, seeing what they can get. They're really just daring people to try and make this run against the defense that they have, and then squaring up fairly against what it looks like from a passing point of view. Climb into the middle, nearly an interception. It was a square throw. Number 11 was in the position to make a play.
Yeah, Seahawks went straight into that nickel. They were looking for Hayden there, Gifford, the top scorer.
The dimensionality offense is quite important as we start to get into these points, and you can start to see how well the defense is drilled here in regards to the positions they're playing, where they're standing on defense to make sure they're not giving up big plays. You can see they're happy for them to get a first down. They just don't want them to drive the field. 10-yard or 11-yard cushion on the far receiver. They're making sure that there's no one who's running empty motion here. They're going to back out. We're going to get a false start, I'm assuming. And again, just a little bit of jumpiness. They're going to be able to continue now playing from behind the sticks. Incredibly tough for the offense to recover these chunk yardage. And really, 15 yards, the timing that they've got, it's a mountain of a task. But they also have a mountain of a man. You expect a look towards Mr. Gifford here to know that he's going to be able to go and make a play.
Yep.
And it's really going to look at, can we get that ball in space? There's a screen play to the boundary, dodged by number 7, but a wrap-up tackle by 45, and then hustling in to wrap that up and keep them in bounds. I think the play would have stopped. We're going to get another timeout. That's a third and final timeout to the Cubs, and we're going to have to look at how they're going to try and get the team back on the field.
It's going to be hard with that free safety playing 30 yards off the ball. Good duff run by Selby.
It's always a hard challenge to try and
my
make
apologies,
sure.
wasn't Selby, it was Max Leon.
Credit where credit's due, Coach.
Yes, 100%. So this is Justin Whiting, there, trying to call a play, anything to get their scoring machines open.
Justin might have to dip into his psychedelic bag of tricks here to try and figure out what he's going to see. The other thing that you do see with offenses is the use of names. I know we've spoken about hand signals, but they'll use, you know, countries like America or cities and states, Mozambique, etc., to try and understand how to get plays in that the players will understand.
Yeah, the Seahawks have got I think they're all watching Marvel movies because a lot of their calls are Thanos and Marvel and Iron Man. So it's interesting to always hear their calls.
Great choice by the coaches to keep the kids engaged and
100%.
stuff that they can see and understand, which is awesome.
100%.
We're seeing, again, fairly large cushion, 15 yards, keeping 2 deep safety and playing nickel personnel, playing 3 in the box, getting a bit of a rush. He's able to rush, big throw, terrible ball there. Throwing on the run's definitely not the goal of that offense at the moment. So it looks like we're going to be on 4th. Time will be whittling away. There's a decision at some point.
That's it. That's the half time.
That's the half time. Thanks so much for joining us, everyone, and we will be back. Is it 15-minute half?
15-minute half
15-minute half time. I look forward to catching everyone in between.
You bet.
Thank you.
There's offside team. That penalty is declined. There's no procedure for the ball going out of bounds. That one is accepted. Re-kick the kickoff.
Rampaging.
Apologise everyone for my tardiness. I was down there doing the halftime show with Rampage the Ram. He's here from the LA Rams. Rams are supporting this event, and we were giving some prizes out to the kids for catching high balls.
To be fair, it doesn't matter much, Coach, because during the kick-off, they kicked it out of bounds. So we're going to go for a re-kick, 5 yards from the spot, and they'll hopefully be able to get a better return. The Seahawks looking much more comfortable now at the beginning of this second half. And look, out of the break, the Lions or the Cubs looked like they were ready to go. So excited to see what they can bring here. Let's see if we can get a big kick, try and put them back in the game.
100%.
It's a little chip and chase downfield.
Yep.
Fielded by number 2, Matthew Hull, trying to get outside here, following his blockers. He's got some blockers. Fell over versus someone making a tackle. It's still a great return back to the 39-yard line.
Great field position.
Great field position for the Seahawks offense to start this drive. We do expect some halftime adjustments from both teams. I think we'll see the defense look to compete where they can and address some of the inside run game challenges they've had, bringing some guys down to the box, still playing a more narrow, no deep safety look here. They're going to send an additional player. They're looking at trying to cover it. Yep. Stuffed behind the line of scrimmage by Jackson Brown, number 51.
That was a late flag from the line judge, Glenn Bowles. Could be a hold, could be a face mask. Yep, face mask it is. That one little hand going on the face mask nullifies anything well that you've done.
The incidental hand contact isn't so much an issue, I don't think, as much as the idea of grabbing the face marks and the method of making a tackle. And you can see his head snap and everything associated with that, that it was sort of clear that it was used to bring it down. Just be a replay down.
Yeah.
There was a semantics issue with the down marker. Oh, yeah. Still a great hustle to make a tackle for only a couple of yards. There's a lot of acrobatic movement here by number 3. Not sure if it's particularly effective at making the tackle, but it does add some.
Eric is a flamboyant player, and we'll leave it at that.
Quick screen out again. These balls just aren't coming out on the quick screens at the moment.
He's not setting his feet.
I think the feedback would be that don't try and do too much. You guys are in a controlled game situation at the moment. What you really need to do is just maintain the tempo and not allow for any mistakes. And that's that situation that they'll be putting forward. The offensive coordinator is incredibly patient. This is a big run down to the sideline.
Coaches are getting a little heated on the sideline.
It was good to see. I think it was heated with their own players, though. Yeah. He was really encouraging his player to stay and play the game. I don't think he was looking for any type of mistake, errors that cost them the other step. Bad angle taken by the linebacker there. And again,
Cody had seen
this corner is getting into the business consistently on these outside runs. Incredibly hard to cover from.
Matthew Hull is not a big receiver. He's tall, but not a big frame of a person.
Yeah, runs incredibly hard.
Yeah,
He's trying
runs
to
at
do.
speed. Looks like the stands are filling up even more for the men's game this afternoon.
A little bit of injury time here as the players move from the field and we've subbed on a new one. So I think you'll see they're getting more and talking to the coaches while they can, but you look for the refs to stick to the field.
And we also want to thank Double Take Productions for doing such a great job. As always, we've been lucky enough to have them for the past 4 years. Professional in what they do and great images, great setup, and really nice people.
That's the important part, bro.
100%.
You know I'm all about that.
The nice people.
That's what I cut my teeth on.
Here's second down and 3. They can actually still get a first down if they get it on the 1 yard line.
I don't think they're going to need it.
Yeah.
That will make it.
That'll put it on
First
the 1
and
yard
goal.
line. Will that put it
Or a
first
half.
and goal? Third down and a half a yard. I don't think you'll see anything else but a run right here. So.
They will stack the box, so I think they'll look to try and attack the outside. But again, if they've got the right players, they will be able to stop them back. It's running up the middle is incredibly tough with the field condensed like this. You have less deep safeties, you have less space to pass the ball. You can't have the receivers run people off. You are really looking at what that looks like.
Let's see if the defense will settle in. Try and stop this 4th down and 1.
I do think that we'll look at an outside run, trying to get something open. I'm not sure whether they're going to have a lot of capability on the hard to try and get them over.
Yep, here comes a timeout from the Seahawks. They're not sure.
I think this isn't a bad timeout. Putting yourself 26 points ahead so early
Makes
in the
sense.
second half is a critical decision to make to try and ensure that you're going to be able to get it. Great discipline by the defense there in holding for the hard count. I know they're pretty jacked up and they're ready to go, and that's important. I think we just need to be careful on some of the coaches' mics coming through. It's a rough day in the office.
Unfortunately, finals brings a lot of emotion to the game. Brings a lot of
Let's just leave it at emotion, Coach.
Yeah.
Emotion and bad decisions. Not that young men are notorious for such things.
No,
but
not at all.
I think that coaches should work hard to try and make sure that's not represented on the field. It's particularly good. We'll start to see the timeout wrap up now, and then the coaches and players will have to clear the field, and we'll look at what that looks like across the board. I'll be interested if you do see a little bit of razzle-dazzle here in regards to the Seahawks offense. They prepare incredibly well, so we're either going to see a standard play that they run all the time, or, you know, the likes of a Philly specialist, you know, trying to put in a position to be successful and really get the best out of what it is they're trying to do.
Yeah, their old quarterback Harry Clark, now coach, is on the sideline. He's done a real good. Great
Seahawks
job
have done an
Harry.
incredible job of alumni staying to coach. We'll see vision there. Yeah.
And a great play. What a great play coming off the edge.
I think it's a confusion by the coaches in what they believe the Q should have kept the ball versus handed off, but he didn't get to see what he wanted to. So it's a turnover. The benefit for the Seahawks here is that the defense that they're so notoriously strong with is trying or in a really strong position to go after it. So you might see a 4-man blitz here. You might see them try and get after it on short downage. And there you go. You're going to see them really try and bring them back.
That was a great play by Jason Rodney off that edge to shut down the Seahawks, but they've got to play it down now, the Cubs.
You are going to see, so they've gone back 1 yard. So the QB, if he is up for a pass, is going to be standing in the end zone. And what that will mean if he is tackled is a 2-point change. So the safety that's called when the ball is recovered or captured in the end zone is going to be incredibly important to be aware of. And the Q needs to make a good decision here. I expect them to send a little bit more pressure, try and keep them on their toes, use like a run blitz style option.
Don't forget the Cubs are on their 4-yard line. They
That's
don't have a lot.
Yeah, they don't have a lot of space to be able to try and do this. You're going to see the run come back in, gain a couple of yards, but they're going to try and pull him back. The interesting challenge that people don't understand in football and gridiron specifically is forward progress is what matters.
Yep.
So dragging them back doesn't actually change anything. But it looks good.
Yeah,
that's the important part. We're here for
those
the
gang
film.
tackles are the ones that look good for the Cams.
The concern you will have on this as well is I think the Cubs are really just trying to get out of here and not having to punt. If they try and scramble here, they're at an incredibly risky. Great ball out on time.
Oh.
Picked and turned.
Ethan's done this.
No, Harrison Cobbett,
Harrison,
I believe.
sorry.
He missed one earlier.
Yeah, but he's done this all year. I think that's his third return to the house for a touchdown. He's just sitting there waiting for that pass, and saves the offense having to do it. Puts it in there. You'll see the offense come out and see if they can convert 2 points.
This is the issue with these zone plays where you're trying to get out or when you're backed up. You've got to make incredibly smart decisions, and unfortunately younger quarterbacks are sometimes put in a situation where they haven't been before.
Yep.
And now they need to be able to rally around it to try and get on top. Huge sack. 32 and 31 getting after it to make sure there was no turnover there.
You'll see the Seahawks special teams come back out, their kickoff team. Great coverage all day, not giving up more than 10, 20 yards return all day, which keeps the Cubs deep in their end zone, in their half.
Also managed to create a turnover on the last special teams.
Yes.
So incredibly important to be able to try and make sure that you're controlling field position. Again, with very little wind on the field, it's awesome to be able to see the kickers in our league really putting the ball deep. One of the things we're going to start to see, I think, is guys trying to get a run onto the ball to utilise their speed. At the moment, we're catching the ball quite flat-footed, and it's not utilising the speed to the best of their ability. Another big kick, fielded well, with speed. Coming down across the field, looking to make, huge tackle.
It's a great tackle.
Huge tackle, and again, keeping them within the 30-yard line. No major big returns. I know there was some hands up there for a hit somewhere, but it just looked like a fairly standard tackle on special teams play. You aren't allowed to cut block on special teams for the watchers at home. You're not allowed to go below the knee. It's a safety feature of the game built in to try and prevent injuries.
Number 23 for the Cubs, thinking that there was a face mask call, but what it was, he put his head down and the hand went over the top of the helmet.
Exciting to see what the Cubs come out with in this second half. Their first offensive drive. They've gone back to a standard trips bunch formation with a single side receiver. Probably looking to try and get a pitch to the outside.
And that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get cement here because they know they can't run inside on the Seahawks. Spread them out thin. And
There's a mental mistake there, I think, when they came in and they tried to chip down on the cue without the toss. I think what we will see is now a fake pitch and then a play action pitch with a fade or a vertical in there, because they are susceptible to biting on what's required. So it'll be interesting to see with that max pressure. They're getting a lot on it. They've got to get out.
Oh. And a great rush from 56 off the edge.
It's a speedy boy.
Oh, he kept coming.
Quarterback protection isn't extended outside of the pocket as well. So the minute that he's at risk of becoming a runner, he's not offered conventional quarterback protections, which is important to understand. If he's a running threat like he was then, he can be treated exactly the same as a running back. So there's no cheap shots or no anything, but they're still able to make full contact. Tackles below the waist, etc., aren't prevented.
And it looks like the Seahawks are bringing 4 people in now. They're going to rush this quarterback. Good coverage, great coverage.
Great coverage again by Harrison Kobeck. The play through the hands and eye discipline was awesome. There was no doubt that he knew what his job was on that play.
Cubs with a second down and 14.
Seems to be a bit of confusion on this when we're shifting the formation. Waiting to see what the call is here. There's a bit of...
I think the official's saying that it's third down rather than second. Yes, that's what it is. He's going to run for...
Interesting play to try and continue the life, or interesting decision to try and continue the life of the play there. Not sure if it was the best decision. Again, looking downfield, you can get QBs and receivers to have better connections to throw the ball, but again, looks like they're just going to go in for a punt here and try and clear it out. Punt here, a bit lofted, pressure in the middle. It's a big punt though. We're going to see you can catch it. I think we've got to be incredibly careful of the fair catch call. We don't see that often in Colts, but the ability to fair catch it means you can receive the punt at the spot it's received. So yeah, it's exciting to see how that goes from a discipline point of view.
You also can't interfere with the player trying to catch that ball either.
So big drive for the Seahawks offense here, starting on the 27.5-yard line. Back to a formation with a wing. Looks like we might see a bit of a motion, trying to get some backfield split action, pitch to the outside. A bad angle by 55, but gathered and well tackled. I think there's a misalignment on the tracking from the linebackers there on where to be.
55's Cody Wansina.
Number 3 is going to take a break. Eric looks like he's winded. He's down on the sideline, and they look to sub in another player.
Second down.
Well, timeout.
And then we had a 10-man shoot across the field. Let's call the timeout.
It's their second timeout. They're only going to have one left going into
Yeah, I don't think they're too worried about it. I think that they want to focus on getting points. As per Gridiron New South Wales rules, if you're ahead by more than 36 points, it then becomes a rolling clock. So there's no stoppages for out of bounds, incomplete passes, things of that nature.
Makes it incredibly hard to recover from.
Oh, 100%. You know, even if you just run the ball and let the clock run right out, at the end of the day, it is the last game of the season.
I think you see different decisions in these circumstances as well. You know, you don't want to put any of your players at risk. You want to make sure that they're going to be able to have a healthy off season, and a lot of the guys are really playing for their last game in Colts, so it's incredibly important to get as many reps in as you can, and that's where you're going to see a lot of the starters that will stay in if there is a point deficit, just to be able to finish out the season.
As we said at the start of the program, the Gridiron New South Wales, because
Great
of
wheel
COVID,
route here.
ooh, unlucky to catch, not to catch that. We allowed the 20-year-olds to play one more season because they missed out on their senior year at Colts. So you're going to see a lot of fresh blood coming through next year, and a lot of these senior players hopefully go up to the men's division. Free safety was in perfect position.
Playing a flatter defense here, trying to get some space open. This is a huge run. Angles are going to be incredibly important. Broke one tackle, looking to bring it down. Broke a second, looking to bring up a third. Pushed forward. 3 tacklers are used to bring him down at that point in time.
Is there nothing that Ethan can't do? This kid is truly a star. Straight into hurry-up offense. Not giving the Cubs defense time to
It'll be
set.
interesting to see if they go with an inside run, QB keeper, a screen, or anything that's built off this, trying to get it in fast. Inside run, as they have done previously, looking to try and get those extra yards.
Ethan's just putting his head down and getting those yards.
Incredibly well coached to understand that's the role that they need on that hurry-up straight away.
Looks like we've got a Colts timeout, or is it an injury timeout? Looks like it's Jackson Brown. Might have been injured in that last play. No, it's Hayden Gifford. Hayden Gifford.
It'll be a tragic blow for the...
Yeah, they can't afford to lose him, both offensively and defensively.
Incredibly critical piece to the, both offensive and defensive puzzle that they're trying to put together. He will have to take a play off, but it is good to see him walking off the field on his own. No help required.
Okay, back to the action. Seahawks first down and 10. On the
they're in the red zone at the moment. Yeah, with
16-yard line.
About 15 yards out from goal lines. Exciting to see what they can do. Motion's been incredibly effective to attack to the outside again, trying to transition. Still a big play, picking up 7 yards. Incredibly hard to contain. You're seeing the linebackers coming in and playing on the inside of the defenders when really they need to be containing it and pushing it back.
Also, the cornerback's not coming up quick enough to turn them back inside.
No, I'm always going to be pretty generous on a corner, not stopping an outside run, coach. I don't know whether we do a lot of that a lot of the time.
Oh, he's got that screen away.
Big hit by Selby there after a ball out. It's a fairly slow play there as well. Took some time, gave the defense plenty of time to read it and understand what they were going to be doing. Bit of an offensive formation change here. Looking at wide split on the receiver. There's a space on the inside.
Great inside play by Jackson Brown. Came right off that block.
He's definitely capable of playing one-on-one with absolutely any offensive lineman in the league, and I think what we're seeing now is the need to double team him to contain his pressure, which creates other opportunities on the defensive line to be able to go through and do what they need to do.
Jackson's one of the players that I know not only plays up in seniors, but he also spare time goes down and plays in the Canberra League.
See the double team there, and it's a fade ball. Great ball, played out.
Oh. Tip drill happening. Great play by the cornerback. He's in perfect position.
Awesome play. Great ball as well. It's one of those, it's a 50-50 shot, and sometimes you have to make those calls.
Yeah.
I've never seen the Seahawks shy away from a big play call if they think they can put themselves ahead, and that's exactly what we saw there. The thing with those as well is they do eventually hit home, and they're enough you gamble on consistently. You don't have to concern about whether or not it's going to be effective.
Yes, yes. Justin Whiting calling in the plays. Looks like he's incomplete pass, but we do have a flag, and the way it was, you're probably looking at a holding penalty on number 94.
It's hard when you're blocking those big boys, a smaller bloke.
Number 56 on the Cubs. Half the distance to the goal line. Repeat, first. Sorry, I couldn't see it first. But,
That's their centre, Tilly. He's the team captain.
And he's been boxing out there with bigger guys all day, so there's going to be some comments where if he gets rushed by a bigger bloke, he's always going to have a harder time and maybe prone to a little bit of a hole.
That's all year, actually. He's played really, really well, and he's a good team leader. Really focused kid. First down and 20. Good quick screen. Made back 5 of those yards.
It's also a lot of work to put the guys through to get those 5 yards on some of those, you know. It's always that consideration you've got to be aware of. Having the stamina cap on some of your players on these days becomes particularly tough as you're looking to try and drive home a win or get a score on the board.
Time's ticking away now. The Lions, the Cubs have to do something. They've got to start moving the ball downfield. They've got to start spreading this defense, because right now they're just teeing off on them.
And you are seeing that there's an unbridled rush by some of the players at the moment where they're just coming straight off the edge, getting a lot of friction. They're going to try and throw downhill, and you're seeing this bloke try and sprint out now, shifts a block, and then smart choices by the Seahawks defense to not make the play go beyond where it was. What I mean by that, coach, is as he's running towards the sideline, as he continues to extend the play, there's always this desire or hesitation from a defensive point of view to try and stop him running. As he stepped out, he's then protected.
Yep. Now we have to teach that quarterback to switch the ball in his hand.
Baby steps, coach, baby steps. I think this is going to be a timeout.
Yep.
I'm not sure how many they have left. I think they may have one. I miscounted the Seahawks earlier. So.
Okay, there's 2 minutes and 50 seconds
in the third quarter.
Left in third quarter.
Enough time to drive it home as well. There's no lack of capability if the team can start to synergize and start those points on the board. It's also been a challenge for Cubs throughout the year as they've been plagued with a couple of injuries and things, key personnel that have really hurt them to be able to be as competitive as they were earlier in the season.
Yep.
And while they've continued to drive a program incredibly successfully from where they were last year, I think this is just growing pains for the development of the team itself. They've come an incredibly long way in an incredibly short period of time under David Allen, their new head coach, which is his first year in tenure of this position. So I think the team's considered incredibly courteous and good to play against, and that's always an attribute that I know coaches are happy to have.
So here we go down, 3rd down and 9.
25.
What can the Cubs do? Not what they wanted to do.
Incredibly tough position now
Yeah.
to be in. You can hear the Seahawks faithful echoing the sentiment that they're really passionate about that play and what that looks like. 4th down now really means that the only option for them is to punt. Unfortunately, it's going to start to detrimentally impact their ability to score and put themselves in a position to win going into the 3rd quarter.
Definitely.
Hurry up calls telling the punter that it's really time he needs to go through the process.
Great punt.
This is a big field. You're going to cut back the field here, looking to get open. Calling blocks. Number 3 makes a huge block, stiff arm, and that's going to be considered. It'll be called back, unfortunately.
There's a flag.
It'll be a flag for a cutback block against the kicking team or return team. He blindside blocked someone, unfortunately. It's always hard when you see someone who works really hard for it. It's not the returner's fault that this has happened, but it definitely was flagged as a blindside block.
I think it was on number 99. Yeah, there it is there. In saying that, I wouldn't have penalised my player for doing that because he was literally trying to.
It's one of those poor plays against the way in which the game's designed is the cutback against the run is incredibly tough. So
I'll have to get CJ to turn on his mic so we can hear the calls. If you watch number 99 in the bottom of your screen, he comes back right there. He affects the block, but the player didn't see him coming and had no time to brace, and that's why we've taken those blindside blocks out of the game.
quick screen inside.
Yeah. I think that's the first time they've run that and actually made some yards. I love their persistence. Love their persistence.
A lot of the time it's just a timing thing, Coach, in regards to trying to get in there and do what they need to do. I don't think that just because a play hasn't worked doesn't mean that it's never going to.
No, no. When you design it, it's bound to work. You've just got to execute it properly.
Looks like 87 has
Dropped his mouth guard. Is that a timeout or an equipment timeout?
I think it's a
timeout. They called it timeout.
I'm sure the coaches are super excited about that.
Yeah, but the Cubs are taking advantage of it.
See the Seahawks coaches on there. It's Harry Clark, who led the team to a championship last year. Incredibly talented player, now assisting the club in pursuing future championships. So always great to see.
Okay, the officials call time back in.
Just 2nd and 5. I think we'll go harking back to a running game of some description here.
Oh, yeah. You've been definitely watching Seahawk film, Coach. Oh.
I think you're going to see an unnecessary roughness tackle here as he was harpooned into the ground. And that was the first play by number 5 at quarterback, which is exciting to see. Riley Edwards obviously trying to get some reps in there. An important thing for the people watching at home to understand is the whistle, or hear the officials.
We have unnecessary roughness. Number 3 of the Cubs, 15 yards, automatic, first down. Sorry.
Oh, I
excuse me.
think-
Sorry,
I
wrong
think the
number,
main-
excuse
I
me,
think
55.
55, yeah.
Yeah,
55.
I was going to say, I don't think Eric was
Cody
being
wants to say no.
particularly rough on throwing anyone to the ground just on the height differential, but there was a consideration there for Cody. I think the challenge always is now not losing your composure as you start to go through these points.
Look, being 26 points down going into the fourth quarter.
You're going to start to see some of those crash.
Yeah, you know, it's hard to keep your emotions in check. This is the last game of the year, so.
Screen pass run back inside. Great run by Mitch here.
Yep,
He's
here he
getting
goes.
open, trying to run into the end zone.
And there it is. Now, unfortunately, because of excessive celebration, they're either going to bring that touchdown back or they're going to assess it on the kickoff. It depends on what he did.
And at what point in the score he did it. I'll be interested to see on the replay what the timing was associated with it. They're both quite close together, so I'm assuming that we're going to see either a unnecessary celebration.
So basically, a receiver can't gloat and throw the ball out in front of himself and high step into the end zone to
Taunt
the defense. Now, if they flag that before he went into the end zone, you'll actually see that they'll reverse that call of a touchdown and bring it back.
It's a tough call by a receiver, though, mate. Now, not that he isn't a fast man hustling and bustling down the field,
We
but
have
as a more
unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 87 of the Seahawks. That's his second unsportsmanlike. He's disqualified from the game. The taunting happened prior to the touchdown, so it's 15 yards from the spot of the foul. Prior.
Well, that's what we thought.
So
He
15
celebrated.
yards. Greg,
He celebrated. It's not a way to finish the game, but it's also not. I don't think he's too upset being up 26 points. So if you watch the play as he goes in, he throws the ball out, taunting the defensive players, and that's why the officials took that touchdown away from him. Some people watching this might seem it's a bit harsh, but you know what? There's the ethics of the game. We want to play as gentlemen. We want to play as champions, and more than anything, you always want to be humble. New quarterback just a little bit nervy, fumbled the ball. Now we've got another flag.
Be interested to see what's going on here. It's becoming a bit less about football and a bit more about some personalities that have continued after the ejection, which, you know, regardless of the decision, it is what it is, I think. Be interested to hear the White Hats' recourse.
We have unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 3 of the Cubs. The player is disqualified for a flagrant foul. The distance to the goal line. Repeat, second down.
Well, that's not a good way to finish.
Disappointing end for both two players who have contributed significantly to their teams during this process and during the final drives of the season. The two key players down, both the offense and defense, are going to be in a new position to try and understand what they're trying to achieve. I think the depth of the Seahawks means that they'll be able to pivot fairly quickly and be able to support the offense in ways required. But Eric was a key personnel in driving. It's also silly in some ways because the penalty gave them a stronger position and now it's been offset. And has pushed them back closer to the goal line. So the Seahawks are again within scoring distance, which is the last position you want to be in at this time of the game.
I'm hoping the officials can keep everyone in check now. Let's focus on football.
Trips to the field, new cue in, looking to try and get some reps. Great handoff, good decision. Really just trying to get him in to make sensible decisions and understand what he's trying to do, know the calls that he has.
Yeah. It's definitely a long third quarter. I think you'll see a running play here.
Again, Ethan Scott doing the legwork on trying to get this through and score here again to put them in a position where I think would be close to unrecoverable considering the time frames they've been given. I don't expect either team to quit. I know both of them are quite proud, so they're going to continue to try and score, and the Cubs will continue to try and put points on the board. This is a great decision. That's an interception by the Cubs. Yeah, that's correct. It was read perfectly by the corner out on that side, and they did an incredible job of going through the window. It is what you see with some of the younger quarterbacks, is an understanding that they have to put the ball with a certain type of throw, with a certain amount of speed if they're going to throw those quick slants, or else it does allow for the corners to be able to play over the top. And I think that's what you're starting to see there. So a great drive by number 5, which is Riley Edwards. I think he'll be one of the future starters and future major contributors to this Seahawks offense. You can see him talking there, if he's not on the screen, but he's having a conversation with his head coach, Daniel Bez, who's continuing to run one of the best programs in the state, I would argue, for the Colts.
And we are into the fourth quarter. Seahawks leading 26-0. And you can pretty well guarantee they'll be running the ball and trying to run the clock out.
I think the Seahawks in the fourth quarter will look to try and maintain the defense's shutout. So we'll see an increased focus on the running game, handing the ball to the right people and just not turning the ball over, which is incredibly important for the success of a team in this position. I think it's also a homage to how much work's been done on the defensive side of the ball here to show that they can achieve what they have in a grand final.
Okay, here comes the Cubs. First down and 10 from their 5-yard line. They have definitely not had good field position all game.
Yeah, it's a long drive for any offense. So even looking at what this looks like, it's being tackled 1 yard past or 2 yards past the line of scrimmage. The clock's still rolling. If they continue to lose yards, they're yet again this precarious position of turning the ball over. The concern they had last time was the quick throws that they tried to complete were picked off. So they're looking like the Seahawks would be on alert now for any outward breaking routes or anything that's really going to allow them to pick the ball and turn it over. Their defense wants to score. They're not just about preventing preventing the offense scoring. They want the ball in their hands and trying to win. Again, looking at another run. They're going to come back. It's pretty close to being behind the line of scrimmage.
No, they stopped him. If you have a look at the line, Judge, he's on the half-yard line.
Forward progress is one of those things that, again, they're looking to hand it off. They're really back to half a yard. They're now well deep into their end zone, which is going to increase this requirement for the Cubs to be able to block the D-line. I would expect them to send a blitz here.
Yes.
I know I would want to.
Yeah, you'd be sending 4 or 5 players.
Yeah. You're really trying to make sure that you're in a position to set the tone on this, and you know, into the fourth quarter, this is a big play, and a safety, something that a defense always wants. Delay of game.
Yeah. Which will move them back about 3 inches.
We have delay of game. Half the distance to the goal line. Repeat, 3rd down.
So it would be pretty close to the ball being, I think, on the goal line.
Yeah.
This would be the closest you would ever see the ball to a goal line on the offense's line. So I think we're going to see a blitz. You can see him send it, pressure's on, quick ball out, catch into the field, but they're going to tackle it. This might be, great tackle and safe tackle. I don't think that's a major loss. The Seahawks wanted to try and go after it, and again, coaches can't be afraid to make those calls. Giving up that big play is worth what they'd be after to try and do it.
And kudos to the Cubs. They don't look like they're giving up anytime soon.
I think one of the impressive things about the way in which the Seahawks run their defense is that they don't really give up chunk plays, so they're putting a lot of pressure on you to try and make sure you make right decisions, which is harder and harder with young players. So looking at this here, you're going to see some blitz pressure off the side. You're going to force them to throw it. They're going to be in the open, and then you're going to see 54 come across the middle, and again truck through, and arguably waiting on a call from the officials. Can't see anything else. A touchdown. That's his 2nd score for the day. And again, just proving how deadly they are in that open field with the outs and the throws in the middle. Clean play there as well. Just a bad decision by the Q, trying to make something happen. And again, that exposure is always what's then going to turn around and haunt them.
Now the Seahawks going for 2 points.
They've been notorious for using whips in the end zone and making these plays pretty competitive. And so, again, throwing, that was an incredible catch. I'll be waiting to see if they... I'd love to see the replay again to see what that looks like.
That was off the ground. That was an amazing catch. Again, Ethan Hunt, is it? No, Matthew Hunt.
Interception back through here. Again, you can see his desire as the running back kicks in. He's going to break through.
Well.
Waiting to see the deliberation on the 2-point conversion, but I don't think the Seahawks are particularly worried at this point in time. And shout out to the Seahawks sponsor, Dermalux, as you can see on the screen here, plastered across their backs. Obviously someone who's continued to support their club. And I believe they also have another one called
Innovate Design.
Or Innovate Architecture. I can't remember which one, but they again keep teams alive by continuing to support them and go from there.
And if you're watching this live stream, GNSW has many teams right across Sydney. So if you're interested in getting involved, either coaching, playing, officiating, please look up gridironnewsouthwales.org.au or on our Facebook or Instagram accounts, and we'd love to have anyone.
A bit argy-bargy there, but I don't really think it was much.
No, there's nothing there.
And that's an example of trying to continue the play down the line. It's incredibly hard for the defence to always know whether or not you're trying to continue the play. Sometimes you get the luck of the draw. Let's see this throw again there, Brew. Oh.
Yeah. That was a great catch. Oh my goodness. So here's the Cubs. This is probably the best starting position the Cubs have had.
Yeah, in a while, to be honest. Yeah.
Literally the whole game. They're on their own 37-yard line. That's Jordan Okora, Sydney University quarterback in your picture right now, getting ready to play the next game.
Three-man rush, free rusher off the edge, dumped it down.
Yeah.
Great play again, out at the 40-yard line.
Great tackle. Why
Again,
not to?
They've had a couple of chunk plays that I haven't seen the Seahawks defense give up, but they haven't been able to link them together into anything significant.
Here we go with another first down for the Cubs. No.
Another interception. Back through to number 7, trying to run it over, staying.
Quarterback's trying to make
a
things
play.
happen, make big plays, but very frustrating when you're down by that much.
Hard to make good decisions.
No, no. And it is frustrating. You've got to remember these guys are between 16 and 19 years old. So
I was super responsible when I was 16 and 19, coach. Don't know what's
yeah.
wrong with them.
I don't remember being like that. Definitely not.
You'd expect a quick run by the offense here to try and get the ball back on the field. I think there's some miscommunication. Again, fairly certain you're going to expect an inside run, but we may be startled. Clever point. They're going to try and run away.
Yep.
There you go. Really just to try and get that first down and move the ball.
Set themselves back up.
Give themselves some more chances at another bite. They're methodical in their play calling here and trying to get through and make sure that they're putting themselves in the best position to be successful with the most number of attempts.
I'm pretty sure you're going to see these coaches trying to get these points in. Good coverage. Not a bad throw. Try and get the ball back in there to get that 36 points, to get that clock running.
I think at this point, with the time and changeover rules and what it would look like, it would be incredibly hard for the Cubs to be able to rally and win the game, unfortunately. So it has been a bit of a blowout in that sense. So you can see they're rushing out, screen game. It was a late whistle, which is a bit odd because I'd feel like there's definitely some dead ball calls that need to be put in place. But yeah, exciting to see what else they'll do in this situation to try and put some points on the board. I think so people understand, you know, the Seahawks continuing to try and score is also about ensuring that their players get time on the field and continue to develop. They're building programs for multiple years, so every single chance they get to do reps is going to be incredibly important. Great play by 51 there.
No,
on
61. He's a
61.
junior player. And unfortunately, we don't have an updated team sheet.
good work, 61.
Yes, well done.
I'd refer to you as that if you're on my team, so that's pretty good. Interesting injury here at the moment to Perry, the QB for the Seahawks. I think we'll see Riley come back in now and try and continue to captain or at least lead the team in that situation to another score. Let's see how the team rallies around that.
Sun's starting to come out, starting to get a little bit hotter out there.
Yeah, and the turf fields heat up pretty well, to be honest, Coach. So there's a bit of heat radiating off there, but never a bad thing. Perry's walking off on his own, which is a good thing to see. Does look like Riley will be back in to lead the offense for at least a little while. Seahawks offense back to drive the field. A fumble by the Q, trying to make a play, scrambling and running. Good ball security, transitioning just to make a play and get out.
Yeah.
That's not a bad decision at all for a junior Q to fumble and then make sure he's in a good position to get out.
And we're looking at, was that fourth down?
Yeah,
That was a fourth down.
turnover on downs. I think from a Q point of view, that's sort of the best of a bad situation. A bit of a muffed snap and then trying to work out what you need to do. Recovering and running and just not overthinking it. The worst thing he could do in that situation was try and pass it, try and make a play. I think one of the things you drive home is just do what you need to do. Don't do more than that. And that was a great decision by Riley there. All right, the turnover-prone offense at the moment appears to be back on the field and is going to attempt to try and make a play. We've seen some second stringers in for the Seahawks, some players that we haven't seen on the defensive line consistently before, so it'll be interesting to see what this inside run does. But again, 58 there.
Not very effective, the inside run.
Yeah, and again, the way in which they've structured it, it's incredibly challenging to try and make sure that the run's open. You know, there's a lot of moving parts, there's a lot of fast linebackers, and it's not as easy as just running in the middle and thinking that the space is there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people coming in to fill the holes and be a fundamentally sound defense, and I think that's what sets them apart in a lot of different circumstances. Again, gang tackling down, keeping them in bounds.
Letting the clock run out. It's Hayden Gifford. They've kept him very, very quiet today. He's a tall kid. He's a fast kid, great hands. Hayden went and played at junior college in America, Orange County Coast. And you can see the difference in his game after seeing it played at a higher level. But very quiet today.
See the Seahawks here staying in this too high shell, making sure they don't give up anything underneath. Looking at this inside run again, they see it and come down. It was third and short. Now we're going to expect them to go for it. It's going to be this expectation that they return to the line of scrimmage, but 1 yard back, and it's going to be fourth down. I reckon that we'll see either a hard count of some description, you know, trying to get them offside, or we'll look at trying to get a real chunk play. I don't think the inside run is the answer for it, so we might see a hitch to the boundary or something here, trying to draw them in a one-on-one matchup over on this side. One-on-one matchup, that side's pretty effective. You're going to see illegal blocking downfield prior to the catch, I think, is the flag that you're going to see. There's a forward pass, so it can't be considered a screen, which means they were blocking prior to the ball being received, which is a separate set of problems.
Yeah. See the call.
We have pass in number 17. Bring up first down.
Huh? I don't necessarily understand the call that I just saw.
No.
I don't think it will bring up first down.
Yeah.
Fourth down.
Sorry.
Fourth down.
Excellent.
Brings up fourth down. Excuse me.
Valid level of confusion there.
Yeah, now it's fourth down and a bunch, and you'll see the Cubs want to punt the ball.
It's an odd decision for me here because I'd just go for it. You've just got to try and score. You've got to do something.
Yeah.
And the punt's a safe decision. I understand that. But it's also just, there you go. A lot of open space there as well where he could have decided to go and make a play if that's what he wanted to do. Their special teams is incredibly tough. Great play again by 61 there to try and...
Back off, back off, back off.
Look at what that's going to look like.
CT trying to control these guys. Like I said, it's getting late in the game. The guys are tired.
Sorry. From where? Woo. Do you know
There's blocking the back. They'll move them back. And the Seahawks will start.
Good to see Perry fully recovered and back on the field to lead the team.
Yeah, it looks fine. It looks like there's about 4 minutes left in the game.
Glad.
Great recovery by the running back there who had a bit of a loose handoff.
Yeah, they were on top of him before he got the snap. Lost 5 yards on that play. Second down and 15.
22 has been an absolute workhorse for the Seahawks.
Oh. He's dropped the ball. Oh, goodness. He's injured? No, I think he's a little frustrated with himself.
Jensen has really worked away at everything that he's been doing and has proven to be incredibly valuable in those situations. Is that a turnover on downs?
No, he fumbled the ball.
Fumbled and it was recovered?
Yep, recovered by the Cubs.
Hopefully this is a bit of life into the Cubs offense to try and hit it home here and make a strike, because I think that's it's the opportunity to do so, if nothing else other than to regain.
Seconds.
The 25 seconds is in regards to the play clock, so they have 25 seconds to get the play in and snap the ball.
Hurry up!
Expecting a delay game, ball very close to that. Big run. Ball's out, transitioned over. Number 20 still stumbling and bumbling, running down the sideline. The big man's going. Can't wait to see the fridge score. Oh, no! He had worked for it
my goodness.
all game. He tackles like a truck and he runs like a truck. What a great way for him to transition that ball. Incredibly exciting play. Perfect timing and great awareness. You can see the ball pop out here on the run. Coming through, throws it out, decides to shove the block, pops out, recovers it, and you see him here fighting through it. 1 tackle, 2 tackle, 56 getting blocked out, great discipline. 79 trying to make a play, doesn't care, keeps running, tripped over.
That was the quarterback. That was the quarterback making that tackle.
It was an incredible hustle by the defence to be fundamentally disciplined and try and get out there and do something good.
And again, it shows you the discipline on their defence. One person
blocks in
tackling,
the back.
everyone raking the ball out. First down and goal for the Seahawks. Straight away to their
And
offensive
touchdown.
weapon, Matthew Hull. Quick out route, and they are in. What you'll see now, because of the size of the score, we will have a running clock. There will be no timeouts. There will be no stoppage of plays. Even if the opposite team or any of the teams call timeouts, the clock will keep running.
I think 20 was pretty perplexed that the ball came out to him, to be honest, on that
I
run
think
previously
so.
Anyway. So
I think
great,
so.
great consistency by Matthew Hull there to try and increase the support of the team and get some more points on the board. It looks like the big man, Mr. McDonald, is in at back. Now, if I had a sneaking suspicion he's going to try and get some points, I'm pretty excited to see what this looks like.
If I want to
Let's
put
see
money
if
on
it's
it,
a handoff.
yeah.
It's a handoff. He's going to go. He's going to try and make
No.
a miss, and he cannot get it through. Incredibly disappointing for the big man. I think they saw two chances and are trying to go back to back on what that looks like.
He was a player when he came in eligible. He usually plays on the wing.
They're discussing the number of the personnel in our game. If you wear a number from 50 to 79 and from 90 to 99, you are an ineligible receiver, and you must report in to say that you are playing in an eligible position. I'm guessing they're discussing that. He didn't do it, but it didn't matter because he didn't score, and there was no advantage to the Seahawks team. Nice kick.
Great return
Great.
coverage.
Great tackle. Again, now it's starting to get a little bit heated. Some argy-bargy. There's flags everywhere.
I got
To
it.
be
I
fair,
got it. I got it.
I don't think that there's anything unfair about
So we
the
got
hit.
two US.
So it's incredibly good coverage with a really big hit at the end of it. I think there's sort of a bit of
I think number 10 is just frustrated at the score. He's frustrated at where they are in the game, and they're just frustrated. Unlike my coach next to me said, I think that the maturity level is at a lower point. Well, they're calling unfair. They're calling
two lots of unsportsmanlike
Unsport-
conduct, and they offset, so the play will stay where it is.
and away we go.
I think I've got my new favourite player, to be honest. 20 after that return, Keanu Matthews,
Yeah,
just stumbling and bumbling. 54 in the middle of the field genuinely terrifies me though, so it's incredibly hard to
look,
strong
you know what? They've both played all over, but honestly, you've got to turn around, look at Ethan,
Yeah.
and say that he's worked hard on defense. He's worked hard on offense. He scored 2 touchdowns, both defensively and offensively.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Again, another assistance on the tackle.
And their group tackling, their team tackling is phenomenal.
Incredible.
We use a term in football called 11 hats on the ball. Obviously in Colts it'll be 9 hats on the ball, but they're all running to the ball carrier. They're all coming in to help with the tackle. Just shows good discipline and great tenacity.
It also is just the thing about they know where they need to be. Like, you want to try and put stuff on film, you want to try and make sure you're doing the right things.
Yeah.
That's what this allows you to do.
Good throw. Ball was a little bit over his head. You can see the demeanour of the Cubs there. They're a little beat up at the moment, but you know what? Heads up.
Played an incredibly physical team as well. You know.
Yep. Let's see if they can put a score on the board. Even as a consolation, it's a it will bring spirit back to some of these players. Oh, number 7. Coming in, making that play 2 seconds earlier, and he'd be running it into the end zone.
Seb Riley there.
Yeah.
Incredibly good play. And there, I think there's an element here around if they're going to punt this at this stage in the game, it's just a different view of what they should be trying to do.
We're looking at about a minute left in the game. He touched it.
He touched it.
Now that's just getting a little bit silly. Now, as there's a minute to go, and I have some work to do with emceeing the awards.
I'll hold down the fort, bro.
I'm much appreciated to Coach Mitch Wallner for giving up his Saturday and making some great commentary.
Just a man of the people, mate.
You are. And then you'll get the joy of hearing Coach Wallner again with one of our senior players, Daniel Crichton. They'll be doing the men's game, which should be starting about 15 minutes after this game finishes. I want to thank everyone again and enjoy the rest of the telecast.
And that's it, folks. The final score being 38-0 to the Sutherland Seahawks. Congratulations on the win, and thanks for listening. Bye.